Hello everyone. Today it's first thing in the morning. In reality, it's probably like 8:30ish. Today's the day. I have cleared my calendar of all activities that might require a smartphone. And by that I mean I'm not going anywhere. I don't need maps. I've already done my Duolingo today and checked my email, so I've not totally avoided the morning time debauchery of the phone. But for the rest of the day, I am going to be making good use of this tool. And we're going to be setting it for 12 hours at least. So I won't be accessing my phone again until at least 9 p.m. And we're going to see if I actually miss it. I'm sure I will. I'll probably check in throughout the day and let you know how things are going and what I would have been doing on my phone had I been able to access it. Probably listening to YouTube videos, music, doing stupid Google searches that I didn't really need to do, things like that. So I'll maybe be checking in later today, but let's go ahead and get it locked away for now. So hang on a second. All right, so the phone is in here. We've got it set for 12 hours and 17 minutes, which would make it approximately 9 p.m. when this thing unlocks. And I know I've got to show you this on camera, so you know if there's the proof that I've actually locked it up. Here we go. Countdown. And there we go. It's locked up. 12 hours, 16 minutes, and 54 seconds until this thing will open up. Let's see how it goes. It's time to really kick this addiction and break this habit once and for all. Hello everyone, we're back, and it is the end of the day now. I did not manage to do any check-ins with the camera, but I did make a physical list of every time I experienced a minor inconvenience due to not having my phone available because it was here in this box. I think there's 16 minutes and 28 seconds left until this thing opens, so let's see if I can talk through all these points before that happens. So, phone inconveniences. The first one I have on this list is I did not get to indulge in my health hypochondriac tendencies. I wanted to do a little bit of Googling about heartburn because it's something I never used to experience until going through a couple of pregnancies, and then now I'm not currently pregnant, but I'm still experiencing heartburn, and it feels like it's getting worse for some reason. So I don't know if it's connected to being hyperthyroid, which I think I shared about a few weeks ago, but I wanted to do some Googling about it and possibly fall into a hole of doom and just scenarios that I probably don't want to imagine. Hopefully it's in the simplest, Occam's razor or whatever, the simplest solution is probably correct, and it's probably just digestive issues connected to hyperthyroid and the hormonal changes. Anyway, then the next inconvenience happened when I was practicing my viola. I have a couple of practice blocks, one in the morning and one right now, actually, after everybody's gone to bed. And I wanted to listen to yesterday's recordings. I played for a friend yesterday, my audition excerpts, and I wanted to listen to the recording I took to see how things went in real life, and then kind of plan my practice accordingly to hit the issues that I heard in my own playing. I was not able to do that because the recordings were on my phone, but it worked out. I was able to practice based on the verbal feedback my friend gave me anyway, and I didn't really miss out from not spending 25 minutes or whatever, however long the excerpts were, listening before practicing. In fact, it was probably better that I used the time to actually practice, and maybe I can find a car commute some other time to listen to my playing. It's always a little bit cringe listening to yourself and kind of critiquing for how to improve, but it does save a lot of time, so it's got to be done. The next thing I wanted to do was look at the Mercari listings I've got for sale. I think I've made a sale of an item and wanted to get that label printed and shipped, but I can always do that on my laptop, and they do give you 3 days to get it shipped, and by the time I made the sale, I was not going to be able to take it because my husband had the car driving to work. So it really wasn't a loss to not be able to go look at that. And eventually I'm probably going to take everything off of there anyway and just store whatever hasn't sold at that point, because I kind of want to stop having to manage that, and it's not really going to be worth the money for most of the items. So we'll see. I wanted to check and respond to, possibly, an Instagram message that I've been waiting on from trying to set up a time to do like a video call with a friend. And I realized that I did not check that this morning, so I don't know if she responded, and realized, uh-oh, I didn't check that. So now that setting up of that call might be a little bit delayed, but again, it's only going to be delayed by a day, and the friend is, I'm sure, going to be very understanding that I wasn't checking my phone. So no big deal. I wanted to text to thank the friend that I played for yesterday for listening and for the feedback, because after I spent time practicing, I realized how valuable some of the things that he said were, and had a sense of understanding. So I wanted to thank that person for their time and their advice, but I can do that later. Again, there's no time limit on that. And then as far as the content consuming that I've historically done on a low level kind of all throughout the day, or if you saw my phone check-in vlog, which might have gone up a day before this, I'm not exactly sure how I'm scheduling this yet, then you might have noticed all the times that I did pick up my phone and listen to videos. I did really miss that content when I was doing housework. So specifically when I was packing food for my husband's dinner to take to work, and when I was doing the dishes and then cleaning up after dinner, the huge mess that the kids leave behind after eating. So those were the times that not having the content felt a little bit like a punishment, because it's not as if I could be paying attention to my kids during those times fully anyway, because I had a task and there wasn't really anything to replace it with in a reasonable way. It's not like I can read a book while I'm cleaning or packing a lunch, whereas having the voice of a content creator on in the background, helping me feel like I'm learning something or multitasking or being productive or getting a little treat, even an entertainment treat while I'm doing those housewife type activities, was something I did really miss. So if there's a way to go forward and only consume content during those times, that might be something to think about, something to consider. The most inconvenient aspect of not having my phone was not being able to pick up my husband's call. I told him I was doing this, and he saw me put the phone in the lockbox in the morning, but he was trying to call about a hotel reservation because he's the one with the membership for the hotel, the franchise or whatever. And I was trying to see if I could get the audition discount for a trip in the future. I asked him if he would help me out by calling. My thought was, because he was the member of the franchise, if there was a discount on top of the franchise membership discount, then he would be able to do it directly. Whereas if I called, I would have to get his membership number and all that. So anyway, he called on his way to work and realized that he didn't know the dates that I needed the hotel. So he sent me a message that I couldn't reply to because my phone was locked up. And then he got a little frustrated because he didn't have the date for the reservation. And that was a major inconvenience, needless to say. And also it was minorly inconvenient to not be able to talk to him while he was at work. We have the Google Chats, and it's, while I can access it on a laptop, it's once again not as convenient because the laptop is not on my person all day. On that note, I'm not sure that I want my phone to be on my person all day, as it usually is. Although it does have some conveniences, like being able to pull out a camera and take a cute photo of my kids, it wasn't something that I think is worth the imposition of constant access to entertainment or Google, or the tantalizing possibility of socializing, messaging a friend is just always at my fingertips when my phone's in my pocket or even in the same room. And there was some freedom in not having my phone on me all the time. So if there's a way to balance that, another note that I made is actually that I didn't really miss it that much, aside from doing the housework and then the actual inconvenience of my husband trying to reach me while he was away. Aside from those two things, aside from those two arenas, I did not actually miss having my phone. There was nothing else that was truly urgent. And I want to see if I can approach this from this side of not having my phone and being really mindful about how I add it back. I'm thinking about whether or not I need to add more days of locking up my phone to establish this as the new normal, or if I can get away with it tomorrow and not just fall right back into my old habits. It's probably safer if I were to try to lock it up for a week straight and really set this habit, but I'm not sure that I can practically plan all my days that way. Just, if I needed maps, if I needed to actually make a phone call. That was the other thing. I couldn't then call the hotel myself because my phone was locked up after my husband was unable to make the booking for me. So I had no recourse after that, because to find out about the discounts, I had to speak to a person. I couldn't do it online. So that, and I guess the thing is, having smartphones available all the time has not made us great about planning these things for a time where we have a phone. I was listening to this Philosophy Tube video about transhumanism, I think was the title. And in part of it, the creator, Abigail, was talking about how tools change a person. There are so many examples, and I don't want to get this wrong, so I think I might save this whole discussion for a sit-down video later this week. I will come back to this, but the point is that the smartphone has changed the way humans interact with the world, and in some cases, the smartphone has become a tool for shopping, which is not the entire focus of my content consumerism, conscious consumerism journey here this week, but it's part of it for sure. It's not just conscious consuming of content, but it's also the smartphone as a tool to buy things or to be influenced to buy things. So there's multifacets, multiple prongs of attack here. But my point of going forward here is I want to make not having my phone on my person the new normal. I want to be more present in the times that I might otherwise be listening to something where I could be doing something else. So the times that I could be reading a book or could be actually playing with my kids and giving them my full undivided attention with no chatter going on in the background. The times where perhaps my focus is more sharp by not having the division of things to listen to along with the activity at hand. And I guess some of the inconveniences were actually blessings in disguise, right? Not being able to go down a Google hole on my phone about heartburn was probably a good thing. I will confess that I did do a little bit of Googling on my laptop because, I couldn't help myself. But I did have to keep it confined to, one search and a little bit of surface level knowledge instead of clicking link after link sitting on my smartphone while also kind of half-heartedly doing something else. So there's that. I did have screen time today, and in some of my downtime, I did read a book. I also did a little bike ride today, which is fairly unusual for me, actually. I usually practice during the morning hours and tend to not have time for that or not make it a priority. But I don't know if it was not having the phone and therefore having a different feeling about life or different focus level that made me want to wrap up practicing early and go take a bike ride with my family. I don't know. We went to the splash pad and got wet. I did spend some of the downtime on my laptop replying to comments because it's been a few days since I've sat down and I've been kind of reading them as they come in, and I haven't had the time to sit down and respond, which is kind of what's happening these days, and I suspect it's going to get worse or more limited as work resumes in September. And I think another aspect of this week regarding my use of technology and media and content consumption might be sharing my time blocking intentions for when I'm going to be on a screen. And it's going to be a little bit varied with the different work weeks, different schedules, but I think I'm going to share like a general time block, even if just for my own personal accountability, to try to stick to those windows of time where I'm going to be able to be on a screen, but also maybe more importantly, where I'm not allowed to use a screen at all. And after today, the time blocking is actually going to look a little bit different than I initially thought. And I think those times where I'm not going to have a phone on me are going to be even more important or even more of the focus. So anyway, we're at 2 minutes and 36 seconds left until this thing opens up, but it's actually time for me to do my nightly viola practice. So I'm not even going to open this when the box opens. And after my practice, I do a little bit of video editing until my husband gets home from work. He works the second shift of the day. So that's why I end up packing a dinner instead of a lunch, for context. And then pretty soon, some of these evenings, I'll be out rehearsing. So the schedule might look a little bit different as far as that goes as well. That might put a little bit of a crunch on my time and elevate stress and possibly make me want to shop more. I don't know. That's what I'm waiting to find out. But anyway, I think I've rambled on long enough. That was my response to locking up my phone for a full day. I want to live like this for more of my life. I didn't really feel that much FOMO. It was only the practical inconveniences that really made a difference. So here's to trying to use my smartphone more responsibly and not let it use me, not let the attention mining apps, the apps that are harvesting my time and my attention, I'm not going to let those beat me anymore. I'm not going to let those win. I'm the one with the intention here. Let me know if you're in the same boat, because this is another one of those subjects where I sincerely hope that most of you are ahead of me, and you can look at this and think that I'm delusional or deranged or whatever. I'm sucked into the phone debauchery of content consumption. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences nonetheless. Let me know your advice if you have any. If you're here or if you've been here, I would love to hear from you too. Any words of encouragement would be fantastic, or things that motivated you to not spend so much time on your phone or see the tool differently would be wonderful to hear. And with that, I will say bye for now and see you in the next one. Oh my gosh, that scared me. Hello everyone, and this may be coming as an addendum to the video in which I lock up my phone for a 12-hour period, basically a whole functional day, and experience the effects of not having access to my social media distractions and stimulations for a whole day. I have since tried to do this some more. Sometimes I've used the lockbox, sometimes I haven't, and I've just kept my phone upstairs or put it on a shelf away from access for a period of time. And I wanted to reflect a little bit more before I close out this topic of the day. The second day that I did this, I did actually kind of substitute my phone time for reading time. And this is good and bad, right? Because I'm still having the distraction. One of the books that I read was actually on the Kindle, so I wasn't free from technological devices there either. So what happened is I finished The Midnight Library, and I also finished Crying in H Mart, which both of these books, incidentally, kind of feel related to this journey in some way. The Midnight Library is kind of a journey of contentment, how to be content in your human life. Matt Haig, in general, writes a lot about the human condition and our mental states and things like that. And Crying in H Mart was, again, a perspective-opening book. It's about a half-Korean, like myself, who cares for her mother as she passes away from the big C word. Not sure if I could say it on YouTube without content warnings. And it was very sad to read. It was perhaps not the greatest time for me to read it either, as I was currently going through my own health issues and kind of worrying about my own possibility to have said condition, perhaps irrationally, but that nervousness and irrational worry is part of my current condition of hyperthyroidism. Another thing that these two books had in common was their spotlight on music, which was interesting to me as a classical musician. And in fact, Crying in H Mart, the author is a singer or a band leader, Japanese Breakfast, which upon finishing the book, I did go look it up and enjoyed. I was served on YouTube their song Be Sweet, and as soon as I started playing it, I was immediately captivated. It was instantaneous, like my ears pricked up. I think the opening guitar riff has the same interval as the song Come Together by the Beatles. The dun 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 dun. It's like a tenth, I think, 2 notes wider than an octave. Anyway, I was immediately captivated by her music as well as feeling relatively captivated by the story in the book. But anyway, the point is, I didn't use my phone and instead finished 2 books, which is perhaps a better trade-off, but still some kind of a trade-off. So this is going to be a long journey, a long process. I think one of the important parts of the journey is catching the morning time debauchery, nipping that in the bud, so not opening my phone in the first few minutes of the day. And also having a better structure for the general use of technology. Another thing that happened on one of the days that I was trying to not use my phone after the lockbox challenge is that I instead spent a lot of time on my laptop replying to comments on this channel, which I don't view as an unworthy pursuit, but it does involve a lot of screen time and perhaps ignoring of what's around me, of not appreciating my present day life. So there's a balance to be found here. The next video in this series, I think, will be striving to find that balance through organizational methods. So I think I'm going to do a share of my time blocking schedule of what my ideal time blocks in a day might look like as far as time I'm on technology versus time I'm not, time I'm practicing versus time I'm not. There's basically 2 activities, or 3 if you count work, that I want to get accomplished every day. So if I have work, that's non-negotiable. The time is not set by me. Sometimes it's in the morning, sometimes it's in the afternoon, sometimes it's in the evening. So that's convenient for planning the rest of one's day. But the other activities are dictatable by my own schedule. The other 2 activities being this YouTube channel and my viola practice. Some of my practice is visible on my music channel if you're curious to see what somebody playing the viola looks like. Yes, those are the other two activities that I really want to time block and make sure I have time to accomplish on any given day. So I think that's where this is going to go next. And if you've stayed this far in this video, thank you for watching. I would love to hear your own journeys of managing your technology use as well. I'd love to hear your tips and tricks if you've successfully decreased your own screen time. And here's to making progress in this avenue of conscious consumerism this year as well, and beyond. All right, bye for now, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, my friend. See you tonight.